Good evening and welcome to tonight's crew call. My name is Jimmy Hayes Nelson. I'm the founder and CEO of the crew, and I'm coming to you live from Dallas, Texas. And I am on cloud nine today. I'm so stoked that you have joined us. We have a bunch of people on this call tonight. We got the crew. We got Set Your Soul on Fire. We got guests. We got special guests going to be joining us a little bit later. We have big announcements. We got recognition to get to. So whether you're a Beachbody coach, regardless of the team you're on, if you're not a Beachbody coach, just welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. We've made this like August Surge Share Day. I know our team, the crew, has had a 6-hour Google Plus hangout. We've been answering questions all day long. I know the Beachbody CEO, Carl Deichler, has been on a Ustream channel answering questions all day long. So I'm hopefully, if you're a guest or somebody that's been on the bubble about getting involved with one of our programs or products, or maybe being a coach yourself, man, this day is a day for you to just like peel back all the mystery and the veil and what is this and what isn't it and what does it involve and can you do it and what, all those questions we all had before we got involved. Hopefully you've got some answers today, and hopefully you're really excited to partner with the coach that invited you to this tonight to get involved. If you've been a coach a while, welcome. If you're not a coach on the crew and you're a coach on some other team, welcome. It's so nice to have guests. We do this every Monday night, and every once in a while we'll just open it up and say, let's all party together because we're one big family impacting and changing lives. I'm so glad you're here because it is really truly a testament to you as a coach that you're plugging in to learn from more experienced coaches, from other teams. Just the fact that you're plugging in. I say it every week, and if you're around me very long, you hear me say it over and over and over again, that engaged coaches are successful coaches. And I know your time is valuable, that it's the evening time, it's Monday, you probably have things to do with families or kids or spouses or whatever, yet you've given us just this hour because you're serious about achieving your goals. You're serious about impacting lives. You're serious about hitting your health and fitness goals and becoming a healthier, fitter person, both inside and out, in your brain, in your heart, in your muscles, in your mind. And in the process of that, not being selfish about it, right? But impacting others and saying, join me on this journey, regardless of where you are. Maybe this is day one for you. Maybe you're like me and you have 100 pounds. You were like I was and had 100 pounds to go. Yet you've stepped up and said, you know what? I got a long way to go, but I am not going to be so selfish that I'm not willing to share with my friends and family and those that I love along this way. So I stepped up to be a coach in the midst of this. Maybe you just have a real passion for health and fitness. Maybe you got a big goal of paying off some debt or buying back your time, and you're tired of plugging in and punching a time card every day to build somebody else's dreams, to work for some other employer who may or may not care about you, your family, that you're doing, regardless if you work harder than the person next to you, you're going to get the exact same paycheck. And you want to have some control in your life to where your dividends and your rewards really, if you work harder, that your rewards come in. And I know that's something, and I think our special guest later can talk about this a little bit. We both have a history of, I think, bartending and the service industry. And that's what drove me nuts about waiting tables. That if I brought my A game every day, it didn't matter. Like at the end of the day, it was how cheap was this mofo that I was waiting on, and was he going to like tip me accordingly to me busting my tail, or was I going to walk out with less money than the pretty girl I was waiting tables with because she was hot and so guys tipped her more. Amy, you might have been on the other end of that. I got the jip into that because a dude waiting, like doing a lunch shift, was awful. So that's where we are tonight. If you're a brand new coach, welcome to the crew. I'm so excited. Our team is growing like crazy, and it's really exciting to have you here. What we like to do first and foremost, you look at the slides here, we like to get to recognition. Sometimes I have a little spiel ahead of time, but right now I so want to get to our special guest, and her time is so crazy valuable, and I know she's a busy girl and a crazy successful, so I don't want to keep her waiting. So let's get through the housekeeping I got to get to, and let's get y'all hear from me every week. Y'all are in for a treat. So let's get to recognition. We like to recognize our team every week. We start with volume leaders. This is personal team volume created by these individuals. Why do we celebrate this? We don't celebrate this. I don't look at this as our shrewdest salespeople or the person with the slickest line. Or I don't think of what we do as sales ever. What I look at these people, these are the people that are out there that are continually investing in others, making new connections, finding out where people are in their lives, where they dissatisfy, and then helping them take the steps necessary to make some real change in their life, to get over those excuses, to go from I wish and I hope to I am and I'm doing. And we really want to celebrate those people. So the way we've broken this down is into the crew 200, 300, 400, 500, and 1,000 plus clubs. We got a lot of people to get to, so let's just get to it. The crew 200 club from this past week, these are the people whose personal team volume from last week were between 200 and 299. And look, it's my wife and my mom right there. O'Kelly and Donnie, Martin, Mandy, Anessa, Isabel, Lisa, Eric, Andy, Emma, Kobe, Blake, Aaron, Jeff, Paul, Betsy, Simple, Adrian, Daniel, Christina, Nina, and Tyler. Crew 200 Club, thank you so much for going out there and investing in yourself and the lives of those around you. Crew 300 Club, Cherise, I hope that's right. If you're new to this, then you're going to learn that my spiritual gift is butchering names. But that's a good thing because more than likely it's either that you're new and I haven't got a chance to know you and you're making waves, or I've just been too lazy to learn your name, and that's my bad. And that gets me out of my comfort zone and makes me learn new names. So Cherise, Cherie, maybe the S is silent. Somebody will correct me. Paul Smith, Sabrina, Bev, Brian, Lee, Monique, Angela, Jack, twerking it up. Shannon, Katie, Victoria, and Jamie is the crew 300 club. I just now know how to. I didn't know your last name was pronounced Luke. But that makes sense now that I look at it. That's awesome. So congratulations to the crew 300 club. Crew 400, Jessica, Yanelba, Ben, Christopher, Adrian, Kelly, Christy, Andrew, Chris, and Kobe Linder in combined first and second CBCs, the crew 400 club. 500, John, and this is in no particular order. This isn't in order here. John, Kathleen, Kristen, Jamil, Michelle Kellogg in combined CBCs, Angela, Mary, Tulin, Cheska, my second CBC, Cherie, Tim, Christy, and Christina. And guys, for the second week in a row, we got sad animals in the 1,000 plus club. We were having weeks there that we created the 1,000 plus club because you guys were showing up on a consistent basis and hitting this thing. We have so many specials this month, and we're going to get to in a little bit, that there's no reason to say, oh, well, that was that month. The cool thing about having a big month is showing what's possible at any given time. So I'm going to put it out there that there should be some names on this 1,000 plus every week. And, and it may not be you. I may be talking to 3 of you right now, but you know who you are, and that should be there. But I do have some good news, and we will be starting this, and I'm hoping this is starting this week. Kelly will be getting out to everybody as soon as we schedule it, that if you hit the Crew 500 Plus Club, you're going to get a live Google Plus hangout with me to answer questions, to go over things, just a quick, tweaky coaching session, just so I can touch base with you guys more frequently. We tested out some Google Plus stuff today. It was awesome. For those of you that were on the Crew Surge Google Plus hangout today, I hope that you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, I'd love to hear your stories on the Crew wall about how that helped you. So weekly, I'm going to be hosting a Google Plus hangout just for the people in the 500 and up club, just as a reward for you guys out there busting your hump and helping some other people. We are now, what is today? It's the 5th. It's the 5th, and we only have Jamil popped up and Hit Success Club so far this month. So I put myself in this, that my goal is always to hit 10 by the 10th, and I am behind pace. So when I talk to you, I talk to me. We had multiple Success Club 30 people last month. And we have amazing specials this month all over again. And so that should be higher. And again, when I talk to you, I talk to me. And that's what's going on. We got on the board right now, there are 10 of us. Last month, guys, I have to go back and look, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say we had 50-something people hit Success Club last month. I mean, it was bananas. And again, what the amazing thing is once you've done something once, you know you can do it again. Jim Rome talks about that all the time. So we do have some rank advancements. Danelle, Kendra, and Karishma, please. I hope that's how I pronounce your name. Brand new emeralds. So excited. And we really put the challenge out there that we're trying to pop emeralds fast. Because why? Because that is where the business starts. You get all the benefits of being a coach, the free customer leads, the team bonuses. Like, that's where stuff happens. So if you're not emerald yet, call out to your personally sponsored coach on the crew wall, tag them and say, man, I got a real desire to be emerald. And the faster you get there, the better. Because if you wait, it starts getting in your head. And I feel like the longer you wait, the bigger the mountain becomes. I've been working with Shalene Johnson in this mentorships thing, and I'm working on a couple push goals right now. And she's really been on me. She's like, Jimmy, you got to get this, this, and this done. Because there's been a couple things I've put off. And she said, the more you put it off, she goes, this little monster is going to build. And it seems bigger and bigger. And if you'll just go attack it, and slay it now before it becomes this big, big dragon, you'll be so thankful. Emerald is that for you. If that means you got to use your U+2 to get the wife and the cousin there, and you're paying for that, and you're using the extra Shakeology as samples, I don't know how you need to get it done, but you need to get it done. If that's using your list of 20, hopefully you took advantage of the crew surge today. It was a way to invite that list of 20 we asked everybody to make and invited them out and say, look, I'm new at this, but I'm going to put you in front of the leaders of my team that have been doing this myself for 6 years, and let him and the rest of the team answer questions. Guys, we are here to help you, but you got to make that list and you got to put us in front of your people, and that's how this thing works. So I would love to see this next week be a record week for new emeralds in the crew. What did I say? We have August promotions, and this isn't just it, guys. So right now, the fact that you can get Body Beast and Shakeology for $160 is bananas. That's just nuts. And guys, I'm specifically talking to you and your buddies that want to put on some weight and put on some mass. And I say that, and then I think of Lee has amazing Body Beast videos that she posts on YouTube like every hour, it seems like. And ladies, I would love more. We ask for your success stories all the time. Hopefully that you're sending those. So if you guys have girl success stories, pictures before and afters, post those on the crew wall, but also send them to Kelly, to my wife, to clientcare@nelsongy.com. That's NELSONGY.com. Because we're looking to accumulate stories. Because how do we help these challenge packs get moving? We get them moving by sharing stories. So if you have Turbo Fire success stories, you have Body Beast, instead of just putting it up there and saying Body Beast is now 160, well, let's share a personal story of somebody's life has been impacted by Turbo Fire, by Body Beast. And as it was announced today, starting tomorrow, the T25 pack is back on sale. So last month we hit record months, record volumes, record Success Club with just T25. Now you have T25 Beast and Turbo. So we should triple this month what we did last month, right? I'm setting the bar high because you guys have shown me that you're continuing to show up and that you're doing amazing work, and I believe in you, and I want to throw fuel on this stinking fire. Let's keep this puppy rolling. Also, if you make Success Club this month, you get a free copy of the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Hopefully a lot of you already have this book because it was the crew's personal development last month. But think of it, it'd be an amazing gift to give to somebody. Christmas is around the corner, kind of. You have a new coach that you help get started. You want to give that book off to them. Man, how awesome is that if you're going to put that tool in a new coach's hands? So August promotions, you have amazing ways to build your business right now. And if you're not sure how to use these promotions and you're like, I'm really struggling with how to word things, again, that's where the crew wall's there for. I'm happy to show you how I word things, or any other people that are popping these things out. Jamil, who is leading in Success Club all the time, is always there helping people out. We have too many leaders for any of you, regardless if you're at your day one or whatever, that you don't have an entire team basically holding your hand through the beginning stages of this thing. And we can help you find your voice as you find your voice. Okay, big announcement. I need you, hopefully you got pad and paper because you're wanting to write down everything Amy says here in a second. But I got a big announcement right here. I posted a video last week or over the weekend about the crew diamond trip. I encourage you to go watch it again. I was talking about crew diamond trip, where it is. Here are the details, guys. This is how you qualify to join us in New Orleans in November. It's the weekend of mine and Kelly's 10-year wedding anniversary, and we want to celebrate it by spoiling you. Here's the gig. New Orleans, you have to be a diamond coach by September 5th. You have a month. exactly 1 month from today. And we've talked about that there are coaches on our team, Christy Weiler being one of them, that last month when this was done, she made diamond in 30 days. She's also going to be making a video talking about how she did that by Friday, right, Christy? Right. Um, but we also had Tara Carr on as a guest the other day, and she made diamond in 21 days. Guys, it's just like the 4-minute mile. If you say I can't do that and it's impossible, then that's what your reality is. If you say, great, I'm going to reverse engineer this puppy and figure out how to get there in 21 days, then that's possible as well. You have an entire team of people here to help you. This is what you get. You get to diamond by September 5th. You hold that normally we made people hold for 6 weeks. I'm only asking you to hold it for 4. I'm asking you to hold it through September 26th for 4 weeks, just because I want to make sure that you're in diamond, like you're solid. And once you get there, we'll work with you on how to make sure that this is a solid diamond and that you stay there and that you're not in and out. And that you're able to travel to New Orleans November 8th through the 10th. There is a $100 ticket price to attend, but what does $100 get you? $100 gets you 2 nights at this amazing hotel. The hotel used to be an old bank. It's gorgeous. It's right there in the middle of New Orleans. We can walk to the French Quarter. We can walk to Bourbon Street. You can walk to why am I blanking on the name of the market, the French Market? Thank you, brain. It's just within walking distance of everything. So you get your 2 nights there. You get 1 Cajun home-cooked meal that Kelly's family is preparing. And for those of you that were at the trip last year, you got to tell everybody what an amazing meal that was at my sister-in-law's backyard with the shrimp and the crabs and the corn and the everything and the pictures of hurricanes and the beads and the fun. And so you get that. And then we have 1 special surprise meal that we're picking up the majority of the tab for that as well, because we want to spoil you guys. Last year we went on a dinner thing. This is an afternoon situation that may involve water, maybe. But it's going to be crazy fun. And our special guests this time around are not 1, but 2 top 10 elite coaches. Melissa McAllister and Lauren Knight and their husbands will be joining us for the weekend to share all their tips and tricks and knowledge with you. That probably is the most valuable part of this trip, is the fact that you have the weekend to sit and pick the brains of 2 top 10 elite coaches. Obviously my wife wrote this because there's small print. It says each qualified coach will be responsible for the travel to and from New Orleans and ground transportation to and from the airport. Hotel incidentals and other meals will be responsible for the qualified coach. This trip is for qualified Diamond Crew coaches only. So that's it, guys. It is out there. You have a month. Who's going to step up? Who's joining us? We got rooms on hold, but we have an option to increase that room number. But it's up to you. So there it is. Also, new thing for new coaches. If you were a coach as of last month, I think it starts last month. And if somebody will have to give me on the details on this. But so you're like, oh, Jimmy, I signed up, July 31st. Now, if you make Success Club 3 consecutive months, you can get Success Club starters, and it's amazing. So the cool thing is, say you signed up on July 30th. Then you still have August as your first month. So your first 2 months count as month 1. So regardless of when you signed up. So if you signed up in July and you didn't make Success Club in July, but you make it in August, it still counts as month 1. You make Success Club in your first month, or really in your first 2 months, because they've given you this like grace period. You get a call with the CEO, Carl Deichler. And if you checked out the Ustream today, you know how amazing it is to get on a call with Carl. Month 2, you get recognized in the back office, and they're going to do some special stuff for you as well. And then if you hit that 3rd month, you get a free summit ticket. And guys, if you're new and you're not sure what summit is, just ask on the crew wall, what's the big deal about Summit? And you get ready to hear 1,000 stories of how amazing Summit is, videos we can share with you. It is the trip of all trips, and the fact to be able to go for free is just invaluable. It's amazing. It's so much more than just the price of the ticket, but that's where people's businesses take off. In fact, I'll have Amy here in a second talk a little bit about her experience and what Summit has meant to her. So, with that all being said, I'm going to find Amy, make her a guest panelist so she can pop up her make a panelist. So Amy, you should see on your dashboard on the right, you should see a thing that says webcam. And then you can say, oh, perfect. Bingo. She's already there. Okay, we have to wait because I have to give you your intro. So look at the cool collage. Oh wait, I can't hear you. Is your mic on? We had the same issue last night. I was a guest on Amy's team call last night. Oh, you know what? I may have you muted. Wait. Hold on. You might not have to do anything. Where's my cursor? Oh, it's on the other screen. Unmute Amy Silverman. Now say hi. No, I still don't hear you. Oh, I can't now.
Can you hear me?
Can everybody, somebody in the somebody in the Q&A, can we hear both Amy and I?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, so I got to pull up all these amazing stats you sent me. So as you can see, that bottom picture is nuts. So she's an amazing transformation story. She joined as a coach in January of 2011. She was elite in 2012. She's a 3-star diamond, 4-star qualify. She was a Success Club 10 All-Star last year, which means she was Success Club 10 for all 12 months. She's hit Success Club in 22 consecutive months. And currently, she's number 18 on the Elite 10 leaderboards. So that means she's within sniffing distance of going on that top 10 trip. That is amazing. Miss Amy Silverman, welcome to the crew call.
Thank you so much. That is a great introduction. I love your webinar. I was taking screenshots. So nice. I just want to say that, to everybody who is listening in, who's on the crew, like, you guys have an amazing leader on your, like, just, this is just so amazing. Jimmy has been so inspirational for me as far as a lot of things that I do with my team. And my first time I met Jimmy was when I was doing Insanity. So, to be able to know him, on a personal level, it's always so trippy when you go from, like, either social media to real life. And I think that's, like, one of the most amazing things that the events like Summit and Super Saturday and stuff like that and the Success Club trips is that you get to meet these people who you form a relationship with online, and then all of a sudden you get to meet them in the flesh, and it's like, it's completely different experience than what you have conjured up in your head. And I just, I'm just so grateful to have gotten to meet you when we were in the Bahamas, and then continue to stay in touch through social media. And
No, it's awesome because I feel like we're really good buddies, even though we've not really spent a lot of like face-to-face time together. So a couple people in the Q&A are saying it's a little hard to hear you. So I don't know if you have like a mic up thing, or you can increase the volume, or just sit closer to your computer. And
I'm just. Can you hear me better now?
Is that better? People that are saying it's low.
How about, can you hear me better now? Yes? This is better? Because I don't have a mic.
Okay, I can hear you. We have some people saying yes. Everybody just turn the volume way up on your computers. I know I'm loud, so everybody else is quiet in comparison. John says you're good. Okay, that's good to know. So let's get right to, I got some things here, and I'm going to be taking notes. So if you see me staring down, it's not that I'm not interested. It's that I want to know more about Amy, and she's having crazy success. And so I want to learn from people that are having crazy success, and hopefully everybody on the call does as well. Give us a little story tell me about Amy pre-Beachbody.
Oh my gosh. What a disaster that was. So I relate a lot with stories like yours, and I relate a lot with people like Tommy Migrant. He was one of the first, like, when I was okay, let me just stop and rewind a second. Success Club trip changed everything for my business. I was already a 1-star diamond coach by the time I went, but just the whole idea of the Bahamas and the Success Club trip is what I think really motivated me to really start pushing with this business. I went to a Super Saturday event, which I think are priceless. It depends on the person that goes. For me, I took a lot out of it because I was just like, I couldn't believe all the success stories, and I met all these really cool people, and I was seeing these people stand up with like star diamonds and diamonds, and I was an emerald coach, and it was my first one, and I stepped outside my comfort zone, and I drove an hour to Joy Polson's Super Saturday in Hayward, and who we kept in touch with, and I was emerald coach, and I saw this, this promotion for the Bahamas, and I really wanted to get to it. So that really motivated me to really hit Success Club from that point, on in. As far as before that, you know, I'm very open with my journey as far as my life has gone on my social media, and I think that's why I've been so successful so quickly. I remember Barbie Decker, who is one of my mentors and upline coach. She had me on an Empire call when I was a very, very new coach because I was hitting Success Club every single month. And she was like, "Why are you so successful?" And the one thing that I said on that call was, like I post a lot of photos. I've been, I was a photo and compositing and design major in college. And I've always just really tried to communicate with people through photography and personal stories, and just always been very open about that. Before Beachbody, I was a waitress. I was waitress for 10 years. So when you were talking about like working for tips, I was like, oh my God, I don't miss that. Anytime I go to a restaurant, I'm just grateful that I'm not on the other end. So, I was a waitress from the time I was 16 till I was 26. I had been paying my own way through life since I graduated high school. I was always a really rebellious person. I had substance abuse issues, and that's why I related to Tommy Migrant, because he had the same deal going on, and yeah, and I just really chose the hard way, through life. I did everything opposite my parents wanted me to do. If I would have stayed in Florida, I would have had college paid for, so I moved to Oregon, and I just did everything I wanted to do all the time, and I was really self-destructive for a very, very long time, and I didn't really care about myself, and I didn't care about my body, and it showed. Like I had terrible acne. I was a size 16 at my biggest. I was basically just trying to like stop the pain, and it was just from like childhood bull crap and high school shit and all that stuff that people have throughout their life, and why personal development is so important. And so I paid my way through life with waitressing, and um, and I was in college for most of that time too, because that is what I was told I needed to do. If you want to be successful, from a father who's a doctor and a mom who's a teacher, it's like you need to go to college, but I'm not going to pay for it for you. You have to do it your own, unless you stay in Florida. And they had all these rules. So of course I was like, no, I'm not going to listen to you. And I did what I wanted to do, and I left. And I was in art school for 8 years with no degree, and I still have no degree, and a
Mine
college
was theater,
dropout.
so get it. Yeah, exactly.
And I always just kind of was changing my majors and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. My first major was interior design. At one point I was doing audio production. I was doing video production. I was, by the end of my college career, I had finally felt like I had found my calling. And then Beachbody kind of just was like, all the opportunity just showed, it just, I kept hearing about all these success stories, and I was getting older. I was 26, and mid 20s is kind of like that time in your life where you're like, I'm going to be 30 soon. My life is the same as it was like 5 years ago. What am I going to do? And I was a discount coach, and Bob Lucido always says, don't discount coaches. And my sponsor, she's just so helpful and supportive, and she just supported me all through P90X, and I refused to buy Shakeology, and I was so skeptical, and I didn't want her making money off of me. Am I going too far? Do I need to back
No,
up
this
a
is
little bit?
great. I'm gonna circle back here in a second, but this is great because I love the fact that you were skeptical, that you weren't. This so the only reason you signed up as a coach initially was to get the discount, right?
Well, Beachbody had that promotion back in January 2011, where I think there's a lot of coaches who joined around that time, where if you joined as a coach, that you could actually, if you got Shakeology and Home Direct, you could be a coach for free. Kind of like the challenge pack thing, but with
Right.
Shakeology. And so I was like, well, 25%, okay, I'll join. I had a burned copy of Insanity. I actually bought P90X and I did that, but then I had Insanity and I was like, there's no point in buying it, So I actually did that version of Insanity, but I was drinking Shakeology.
So okay,
So
I'm gonna stop you right there for just a second because this is so brilliant, and I forget who asked this question today. So we did this with this day long Google Plus Hangout, right? And somebody was talking about I keep having people downloading copies of Insanity or P90X, like instead of buying them through me, and we kind of talked about just support those people where they are because you're not going to be able to compete with free, even though we go, oh, you don't get this, you don't get the schedule, and you don't get this and that. But you're a great testimony to you were one of those people, right? So you worked out with me illegally, and that's okay. And but I love the fact that you shared that you're honest about that. Um, I'm going to circle back just a little bit. You were talking about
keep
um,
me on track because I'll get off track.
no. Well, you and we could have a 3 hour chit chat if we wanted to. So I want to talk about because you have been such a successful coach, and it looks like something you were successful with early, and you touched a little bit on, you know, substance abuse and just wanting to stop the pain, and you really weren't taking care of your body. Was that something you were willing to share with people from the beginning? Was that ever a hard part to share? Because I know that we have some coaches with some amazing stories and some amazing things that they either have overcome or still in the middle of overcoming, and are hesitant to share the ugly side.
Well, there has to be. Okay, so I'm gonna probably cry.
That's okay. You won't be the first person to cry on this webinar.
It's hard because when you have people who are really passionate about Beachbody, you hardly ever don't hear them cry. I've heard Tommy cry on stage, and yeah. But for me, what I learned while I was getting sober was that humility is a huge, huge, huge part of staying sober. And I feel when I first was introduced to Beachbody and I had this transformation, I couldn't believe that I actually achieved the body type that I wanted. Like, if you look at my transformation photo, I've always been kind of like, I get all these comments all the time, even from people that I've known my whole life, like, oh, you were never chubby, oh, you were never this, oh, you were never that. But I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life that I did not share with people through social media. I would, do the whole above the face photo, and like, these people haven't been in my life my whole entire life. Like, I left Miami when I was 21 years old, and I moved to Oregon. And so they haven't seen me at my worst. So, you know, I have had, the whole, I've had a struggle with my body image and my weight since I hit puberty. Like, I was in school, summer hit, I came back to school, and I was a woman, and it was like, from then on, it was just like, ooh, like downhill. And I think a lot of women relate to that. But if you're not willing to share those things in your life, people are not going to relate to you. And you have to be willing to cry on camera. You have to be willing to share. And it's about humility, because if you want to keep what Beachbody has given you, you have to pay it forward, and you can't be selfish about it. And it's kind of selfish to share about it because you are trying to share about it, to better yourself, to better your business, but at the same time, you have to be willing to go there with people so that they can relate to you. It's the whole pay it forward program. And, it's like something that what I learned when I was getting sober. It's like, if you want to keep what you have to give it away. And you have to be able to be humble, and you have to look for ways to have humility. Find ways to embarrass yourself. Find ways to step outside your comfort zone. Find ways to, I don't know, just make yourself vulnerable, and be willing to show people that, like, look, I'm normal. I'm flesh and skin. Like, I'm not this Barbie doll. Like, I've been through shit, and look, I'm not like dead. I'm
Yeah.
actually doing really, really well, and you can too. And I'm willing to walk alongside people as they discover that, with Beachbody, and let them figure out their course, because my coach did that for me. She, like I said before, she coached me when I wasn't doing Shakeology, and she coached me when I was, doing a burn copy but drinking Shakeology. No matter what, she just supported me. And she didn't know 60 days into my journey I was going to turn into a top coach. I make her probably 75% of her income at this point. And she had no idea. All she was willing to do was just support me because she cared about me. And we're really good friends, you know. She's, you know, still, she's a really good friend of mine. And I just love her.
That's good, guys. I hope that you're taking as many notes as I am. There is gold in this call, and I knew there would be, and this is why I wanted Amy on here. So going forward with this, and something, and the reason this is why I feel like when I see you, I feel this kindred spirit with you, because I feel I do know you via social media, because you are such an open door with people. The ebbs and flows of trying this food wise, feel bloated today, check this out. Like, you're just, there's no like only take the perfect picture. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, you're the queen of the bathroom selfie. And but I dig about it's not just the good days when like the abs are all looking amazing. You're like, oh, today sucks. Look, it's, and I think people are drawn to that. So I don't know if this is your main hub, but I follow you most on Instagram, and I think like the whole photo thing, and it's, you obviously have an eye for that. So we have people. What would you talk to a new coach about how they find their voice and how they should find their niche and who they're looking for on Instagram? Because if we all try to be Amy, that's not going to work. Me trying to be Amy is not going to work. So what do you tell somebody who goes, wow, you have so much success on Instagram. How can I do what you're doing? Like, what would those tips be?
Um, well, of course, I learned from the best. I didn't, you know, sign up as a coach and know everything. I have been teachable. Like I said, that Bahamas trip, like when I left that Bahamas trip, you know, they had the Janelle Summer social media training. I took notes like a mad woman, and I went home and I started doing exactly what she said the second I got home. I didn't wait. I didn't go, you know, put my notes away and then twiddle my thumbs. I actually, no, forget it. I started actually probably that day. I was probably in the training, like applying what she said to do right away. Um, if somebody tells you to do something and they're successful with the business, why are you even questioning what they're saying? You should just be doing it. What did I do? I started following her. I started following successful coaches on Instagram. I would try what they did. If I didn't like it, if it didn't sit right with me, you know, I would change it. Like you were saying last night, like my version of learn, do, tweak. Like I just have always been an action oriented person. I'm okay with, you know, with, I like to see how things pan out. I'm okay with like trying new things and stepping outside the box. Um, and Shalene Johnson's branding, like it's all out there for you guys. I always tell my coaches, use Google. Like Google is how I grew my business. If I was like, how do I get followers on Instagram? I'll go to Google. How do I get followers on Instagram? And they have, how do you get followers on Instagram? Like on Google. And so I just did that. As far as the creative side goes, I mean, I went to school for communication arts and multimedia design. I would say if that's something that an area that you need to grow in, that you want to be able to communicate with people visually, and since we are, you know, if you're trying to grow your business through social media, like you need to learn how to communicate with people through the computer. Doing videos, I did Shalene Johnson's, you know, video academy. Like I didn't just, you know, pop up out of nowhere and just learn to do, like I trained myself. I did the work. I'm a Danny Johnson graduate for Steps to Success and Dynasty. Um, you know, I went to the Franklin Covey training with you. Like I do every single training that anybody tells me to do. Even if like, I'm like, I don't sit there and think like, oh, maybe that I should. Maybe it would help my business. No, if somebody who is making millions of dollars, like Barbie Decker, says go to Danny Johnson, I'm gonna freaking be like, okay, where do I find my ticket? Like, and I just went, and it
Mm-hmm.
changed my business. I've tripled my income since last year since Danny Johnson.
Well, and that's something you've touched on also. So I had a next question here is when the light came on, but you already kind of answered that you saw the value of events quickly. The trip, the success club, the fact that you were willing to drive an hour. So sometimes it's a matter of getting out of your comfort zone, because that training and stuff's not always going to fall in your lap. You've been willing to invest in your skill set, and so any coach. The nice thing about skills is you can acquire them, like me, Amy, anybody else. Nobody jumped into coaching and was just like, oh, we just happen to be good at it by accident. Like, we've spent money and invested in our skill set to get better. Yes, we try to relay that to our respective teams, But there's going to come a point where you got to own this thing. And you touched on Shalene, and I'm working with Shalene right now in a mentorship program, and there's nobody that I respect more in the world when it comes to like business. But she had this video of a Super Saturday that I got to attend in Orange County 2 Super Saturdays ago, and she was talking about just owning your business. She's like, I didn't have an upline coach to create Powder Blue. Carl didn't have an upline coach to create Beachbody. Like, own your shit. Like, and the fact that that your team has support from you guys, that the crew has all the amazing leadership that we have here, that's a bonus. That's a bonus that not every coach gets to have. So that's awesome. So guys, some of you popped here. We're going to hit some quick Q&As, Amy, if that's okay, because they're kind of popping up in the box. If you have a question, quickly put it in the Q&A to me, and we will fly through these. So we can sit. So Roland says, so she talked about when you were talking about sharing the shitty parts of your life, the good, the bad, addictions, whatever. She said, so I understand this and I do this all the time. However, I'm finding people who approach me and get my story and my honesty and my humility, and they're still skeptical about getting started. What would your advice be in that situation?
I recommend going to Danny Johnson's First Step to Success, because she's going to teach you how to pinpoint somebody's personality type and how to talk to them and the proper questions to ask. I mean, there's a lot of people who have gone to Danny Johnson, come back and been like, I didn't learn anything. So it's not going to be, like a cure-all, but if you're going there and you're hungry, it's always like that Roy Smooth, like, get hungry.
Yeah. Less Mills, less Brown.
Less milk.
But you guys, you listen to the Roy Smooth mixes also?
Oh, you told me about that.
Oh, I love them. Oh my gosh, I love them.
But it's all about the questions you're asking. If the same thing isn't working for you with over and over and over again, stop doing that thing and start trying something else. It's usually the questions you ask. If somebody's messaging you and they're liking your story, then stop talking about yourself and start talking about them. I'm not saying this is what you're doing, but like, turn it around and, ask them, like, why. I'm interviewing people the second they message me. If they're like, oh my God, I relate so much to your story. I want to be vegan too. I had substance abuse, blah, blah. I'm like, how long have you been sober for? Like, where do you live? I start forming them, and I'm just like, why do you want to be a Beachbody coach? Why do you want to be on my team? Why do you want to be in a challenge group? I'm like, why are you even messaging me? And I make them like open up. If I don't get a paragraph this long back from somebody, they're like, I'm going to continue to ask them questions. I'm like, I'm not done. Like, you're not answering my questions good enough. Like, I make people work for it. I'm not just going to be like, here's the opportunity. Like, you have to prove to me that you are willing to do the work, to join the team, to join the challenge groups, and that you really want it. And I really try to understand what you want from it and get their why. You just really got to work on getting their why. And once you have their why, whether it's a coach or a customer, anybody, even if it's like a family member, I convinced Kevin to believe in Beachbody. My husband is Kevin. I convinced him to believe in the Beachbody opportunity by after I went to Danny Johnson, I learned how to get somebody's why, and that is how I helped Kevin see the opportunity and the potential with getting his why, and helped him to see, like, okay, you want to do this? Don't you see how this can help you? And like, you just gotta, it's just, you need more training. I would go to DannyJohnson.com and just do more training. I don't know, did that help?
Yeah, absolutely. So Megan asked, what kept you motivated through your journey? There seems to be a lot of ups and downs, and how are you able to handle all these life problems? Like, why didn't you ever just quit and say, F this? Like, what was the driving force?
My why, I had been, like I said, I've been a waitress for 10 years, and one of my biggest fears, so one of my biggest turning points to getting sober was that I was at a bar, actually a couple things, but not only was I in dysfunctional relationships and I really wanted a loving marriage, but I was at a bar once and I saw this like 50-year-old woman who had like blonde hair like me, and she was like old, and you can tell she'd been drinking her whole life, and she was like dancing, and I was like, oh my God, that's my future. And like, I kind of was like, that's what's going to happen to me. I'm going to be this barfly and like smoke cigarettes the rest of my life. And so those seeds, those life seeds, like things I see around, like I feel like the universe really speaks to me. So What had happened was with Beachbody, I found my why. My why wasn't even that big in the beginning. I just wanted to quit my job. I was like, I just need a reverse. I didn't know what reverse engineering was, but I did it without knowing that I figured out how much I needed to be making enough to quit my job. And I figured out what I needed to do month to month to make that. And I did. And that was Success Club, getting my leads, building my team. And then, yeah. So what kept me motivated was clocking into work every day, being a waitress, having to wait on the snottiest people in San Francisco that you can ever imagine. These rich, just really gross people who I was like, I am better than this. I am like, how come you're on the other side of this table? Like this, I would just get motivated by life. I would just be like, I deserve more. I just find every reason in the world to get motivated. And I didn't create a vision board like Lindsay Matway does. I have one now. I'm looking at it, but I had, a set goal in my mind, and my only goal was to quit my job. And then once I did that, I set another goal, and I did that. And then I just keep setting goals, and I keep setting goals, and like doing what I need to do to accomplish them. So I would definitely have a working to-do list, a vision board, goals. Have a really deep why, really figure out, my why is huge now. Like it just grows and grows every single day. But I would challenge you, Oh, another thing, this is really personal, but I had a pregnancy scare. I call it a pregnancy scare because I don't want to have kids right now. And I know like you all have really cute kids, but I have dogs and I'm just not ready yet. But I was living in this little apartment in Berkeley, California. San Francisco, so expensive, maxed out credit cards, living paycheck to paycheck, going to school. I was exhausted. And I was like, oh my God, what if I would have gotten pregnant? Like this, my life would have just been hell. I would not have been able to afford anything. And then I was like, something's got to change. Something's got to change. Like, what if I want to have a family one day? Like, I can't live like this. So the opportunity kept presenting itself through all these success stories I was hearing. And finally, I had a call with my coach and I was like, what do I need to do? And she told me and I did it.
That's awesome. John, from one, I guess, photographer to another, asked, he said he just shot the Golden Gate Bridge, which is on his bucket list. What's still on your bucket list?
Uh, okay. Hi, John. John was one of the people I met in the Bahamas. I was very happy to meet him because he was a fellow photographer. But this is gonna sound so funny, but what's on my bucket list is surfing on with a headstand. I want to be able to do a handstand surfing at the same time.
That's pretty
Isn't that
cool.
awesome? Isn't that cool? And get a picture of it and put it on my Instagram.
No, that'd be awesome. Well, I'd get a poster made of that. What are you talking about? Just an Instagram picture?
Yeah, but I mean that's on my bucket list for sure. That's like my main thing. I don't know.
Nice.
Nothing really too concrete.
So we also, since we opened this up, we have some people on here kind of asking some fitness stuff as well, that may or may not be coaches. So, but Jessica asked about, and I think we could both speak to this, but about breaking habits and patterns. She's like, how do I stop my cravings for sugar? I feel like it holds me back from everything in life. And I'm gonna expound on Jessica's question real quick and then let you answer. Is I think that affects us emotionally because it's chemicals, right? And it's like how we react to things. So to somebody who feels like a craving for a craving for sugar is no different than an alcohol problem or somebody who's having a substance abuse problem. So what would your tip be in helping to flip that switch?
Well, there's a couple ways. I quit cigarettes by setting a goal, and then on that goal date, I had cigarettes left over. I've been tobacco free for like 4 years now, and alcohol and drugs and all that free for over 5 years. But when I decided a year into my alcohol and drug sobriety that I wanted to quit cigarettes, I set a realistic goal, a smart goal. It's so funny because all these things that people teach me, I'm like, oh, I already did that. But I set a smart goal, and that was to quit cigarettes. And I gave myself like 3 months, and I set a date on April 7th, which is my sobriety date. If I if I have cigarettes left over in my pack, I'm going to flush them and I'm never going to smoke again. And so when that date came, that's it. I was done. I decided that that was a date. And what Tony Robbins talks about, your life is made up of choices. And once you decide that you're going to do something and you make that choice, it's just like that. Like you decided to become a coach. You decided to get on your health and fitness journey. If you decide I'm done, I'm not gonna, drink soda anymore. I'm not gonna eat sugar. You can make that decision. You can just be like, I'm done. I like to research things. I would definitely research what sugar does to your brain, what it does to your body. When I wanted to stop eating meat, we went into a documentary, like a thon, about what it does to you. I'm reading, the China study. Like when I want to stop doing something that's bad for me, they don't have a 12-step program for sugar, but they should. But when I decide I want to stop doing something, I usually do a lot of research around it and educate myself. And every time I eat it, I can't, shake what I've read about it that day. If that is really important to you, your personal development, spend 20 minutes or 10 minutes a day reading about the health effects of sugar. I guarantee you that if you do that, it will definitely affect you the next time you go to eat it. You're going to feel it, and do the ultimate reset because it changed my life.
That's good. John Hayes also says that he read the book the Sugar Blues. He said it's the Bible on what sugar does. There's also books. It's the same author. One's called The Easy Way to Quit Drinking and The Easy Way to Quit Smoking. And basically, what the book does, it takes you through, is it just educates you on exactly what the process does. And so the more you know, it's harder to like consciously make that choice once you have that knowledge. Some people would rather stay ignorant to what's going on, and then it's easier to like fall back into that habit because you're like, well, I don't know exactly what it. I mean, I know it's bad for me, but that's generic. So that's great. Okay, okay. Jeff asked me a question. I'll answer this question. When's my next challenge group? It's coming up shortly. You can email me at coachjimmy@me.com and I'll get you all that information. And then coachjimmy@me.com. Just want to make sure that was out there. So last but not least, and I think you've already touched on this because you're obviously a fan of Danny's. You talked about Tony, but Tony Robbins? But is there any book or author you would recommend for personal development?
I'm doing a push group right now with my team.
Love it. The 30-day push for free on the website or the book is genius.
It's open right here on my desk. Well, on my bedside table right now, I have Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins, which was a huge, huge game changer for Kevin. He was reading it while he did the Ultimate Reset, and he completely changed his life. So I send that to all my new Emerald coaches because I think it's really important, and I hope you're reading it if you're watching this and you're an Emerald coach on my team. And I have the 15 Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell, and I have what else? I have so many on there. Oh, the 4-Hour Work Week, because I'm gonna retire in like 2 years. So I'm actually already retired as far as I'm concerned. So Tony Robbins, John C. Maxwell, Danny Johnson, First Steps to Wealth, if you haven't read that book. And I've heard a lot of hype around GoPro. I haven't personally read it, but I heard GoPro is really good one since Becky Brissett mentioned on the National Coach Call. So, I mean, if you go to my Facebook page, I'm pretty sure if you just follow me on my regular Facebook page, Amy Silverman, I have a list of like all my personal development books, like under the book section. So, but the Slight Edge was my first one because my mom was a personal development junkie who didn't get anything out of it, and so I didn't believe in it. I was really hard. Liz, is an angel for all the bullshit she dealt with me as a new coach. I was just such a hard, egg to crack. But she was just start with the Slight Edge. It's really small, has big print. It'll be really good for you. And once I read that, there was no turning back. I was hooked on personal development and the National Coach Call.
Yeah, and that one's easy. And the Success Club tab in your back office, there's so much stuff to pick from there. Amy, this has been amazeballs, girl. You have been awesome. I so appreciate the time. Guys, I'm going to go through some things real quick here. As you know, our August personal development we're listening to now is The Power of Habit. I am obsessed with this book right now. It's talking about why people do the things they do. I'm learning so many new things. Amy, you can add that to your list. There's your bonus for today. I'm an audiobook guy, so I'm listening to it on iTunes. You can buy the book itself if you're a reader. Again, we need to see you. We need success stories. We need success stories of you, both physical, financial, with coaching. We need success stories of your people in your challenge groups or in the crew community groups. Please send those to clientcare@nelsonji.com or tag Kelly in the crew wall and let her know we're collecting these so we can put them together for things to help you guys share stories. And last but not least, you guys are bringing on coaches at record number. Make sure you're sending them to crewtrainings.com/new coach so they can get their new to crew webinar. And then make sure that you're following up with them after that new to crew webinar that answers all their basic questions. And so you can help them get started. Please, everybody, stop by Amy's Instagram and Facebook page. Tell her how much you appreciate her time tonight. Amy, I will send you a copy of this so you can share it with your team as well. But thank you so much. You and Kev have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you soon.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.